you're going to have to fail. You're going to have to willing to take a risk. You're going to have to be willing to stumble and to get out of that comfort zone. Because you cannot be comfortable and productive at the same time. You cannot be comfortable and productive at the same time. If you've ever studied for a test, imagine the scenario of you having all your books studying in your bed, right? You're laying in the bed, TV on, and you have your books out studying. You're comfortable. How much studying are you going to get done? I know for myself, when I tried that, I would either be sleeping 5 minutes or watching TV. I couldn't study in the bed. And that's because you cannot be comfortable and productive at the same time. You cannot be in a zone of comfort and still be producing at the same time. You have to get out of the comfort zone. Anything that's worth creating is worth the effort of coming out of that comfort zone. You can't be comfortable and productive at the same time. But a lot of times people stay in that comfort zone because they're afraid to fail. They're afraid to fail. And we always say, hey, don't give up, keep going, don't quit. But we don't really know why. But failure is required for success. It's not just, oh, you might fail. It is absolutely a requirement for success. You have to fail to get to the next level. You have to. Something has to fail. Think about when you work out. If you go to the gym, right, and you're doing reps. Do 10 reps, 20 reps, whatever. And on the last set, it says go to failure. Basically, you lift weights. That's a type of strategy for muscle growth, going to failure. You do an exercise until your muscles burn out and you can't do it anymore. You just go to failure. And the reason why that's so effective is because what happens is you push your body and your mind and your muscles to their absolute limit till they just can't go anymore. And then they just give out. But what happens after that is your body replenishes itself. Your body and your mind restore themselves up to the level of effort and energy needed to withstand that level of pain and endurance the next time. And so the next time you do that same exercise, your body has increased its energy. Your mind has prepared itself for that level of pain and that level of physical sacrifice. So that next time it's ready for that level that you barely got at, that failure rate. And then when you do it the next time, you breach that a little bit more and get a little bit higher, right? You're prepared for it now. You know this level of failure doesn't scare you anymore. It doesn't bother you. And so now you can reach that level and just a little bit more. And then you go to failure the next time. And you're going to try, and your body replenishes itself, and your soul and your spirit replenish itself and prepare itself for that level of pain and more. And then the next time you hit it and you're ready for this level. You've seen this failure before, and you go to the next level. And that is how you grow your body. That's how you put on muscle gain, by taking your physical body to its limits. You have to go to failure. That same principle applies in life. For you to see any type of growth, any type of progress, any type of substantial change, you got to go to failure. That means you have to put enough effort to get yourself outside of your comfort zone, outside of what you know how to do. You want to get into a realm in your business, in your life, where I don't know what to do. I got to figure this out. But the only way to do that is to fail. You have to get to that point. And so failure is extremely important. I don't care if you are an entrepreneur, if you're starting your own business, if you're pursuing a career, where you're just trying to grow or expand, and you just want more for your life in any way, shape, or form. You have to be willing to fail. That is the only way that you're going to grow. As long as you're staying in that comfort zone, nothing is going to happen. nothing is going to happen. You have to be willing to fail. And guess what? Guess what happens? People reward failure because they see the effort, they see the hunger. People reward failure. You're rewarded when you fail. And another thing about it, and this is a story that happened to me early in my life. When I first started playing basketball. When I first started playing basketball, I was played a few years, built up my skills. And then when I really got competitive, I was on a basketball team where I was the best player on the team. And we would play other parks around the city. And most times, those parks had a team full of athletes. But on my team, I was the best player on the team. I scored the most points. The ball came to me every time. I was only like 10 or 11. At that time, it wasn't as serious as it is now. But I was the best player on that team. But then at the end of that season, all of the best players on every team will come together to form an all-star team. And so you had to try out for that team. And all of the best players we went to the tryouts, and everybody, I had remembered the guys because I had played against them all season. Some of these guys are really good. But I was like, I'm the best player on my team. I know I can make this team. I'm not worried about it. So I don't even remember the tryout. But after the tryout, this was in the days where they didn't care about your feelings. All of the players and all of their parents, we would just sit in the bleachers, and the coaches were standing up talking to us, and they say, if we call your name, you made the team. And and if you didn't, thank you for your tryout, thank you for your effort, try again next year. So we all just sitting in the stands waiting on our name to be called. What's up, Austin? I see you watching this, man. You might appreciate this story. So they just started calling our names one by one, and I was like, okay, yeah, he was good enough to make it. Yeah, I expected him to make it. I'm just watching all of these guys get their name called, and I'm just sitting in the stands waiting for my name to be called. I know I made this team. I have no doubt about it. And they steady calling the names, and it's starting to get late in the roster. I'm like, what's going on? I know they're gonna call my name. I know I'm good enough to make this team, and they just start calling the names, and then he called off the last name. He say, all right, everybody else, thank you guys for trying out. We'll see you next year. And man, and it was me and my stepdad in the gym, and the parents just start getting up and leaving, and I mean, I just felt this big hole in my stomach, like I just felt ashamed, embarrassed, just dejected that I did not make this team. I mean, it was one of the most hurtful feelings that I can remember as a child, because I just knew that I was going to make it. I was so disappointed in myself, and I just didn't know what to do. So eventually we started leaving, and we driving home, and I'm in the back seat, just crying, like, damn, man, I just couldn't believe I didn't make that team. And I remember it was raining. It was probably about a 10-minute drive home. And, we pull in the driveway, lights on. He goes inside. I'm just slow to get out the car. And I'm, about to go in the house, and I just see the basketball. And I just grab it. I don't want to go inside. I'm just too hurt. And I just start dribbling. And I just start dribbling, and I go to the driveway and on the goal, and I just start shooting and dribbling and shooting. And I just start working on my game. And I just start working on my game, and I just start practicing. And I probably was out there that night for almost 2 hours, just working on my game, getting ready, going over stuff that I should have did better, working on moves that I wanted to perfect. And at that point, a light went off in my head that I want this. I want to pursue this. I'm not going to let failure stop me from this. In the next year, not only did I make the All-Star team, but, in a lot of those tournaments, I was the most valuable player on the team. But my point in telling that story is back to my theme about failure. Failure will tell you how bad you want something. And if you don't want it bad enough, then when you fail, that's going to be the end of it. You're done. But if you really want it, failure is going to reveal how bad you want it, because you're going to keep trying harder. You're going to look at failure like just an obstacle. You're going to know that you can give more. And so failure is required for you to move forward in life, because you have to test how bad you want something. If you just stay in the comfort zone and don't really try and get out there and do exactly what you're trying to do, then how do you know how bad you really want it? You might want it unless things go bad or unless you're tested. Failure is going to tell you how bad you want something. It's going to reveal to you who you are and how you react in the midst of failure. For me at that time, at my lowest point, I was hurt, I was dejected, and then I started practicing. The same night, I made a decision. I'm not going to ever be in a position again where I don't make a team, where I'm not prepared enough to beat out my competition. And I made that decision. And that's a decision you're going to have to make with what you're doing in life. If you're doing what you want to do, test yourself. See how bad you want it. But if you're trying to do anything different, I don't care what it is, with your body, with your business, with your life, you're going to have to fail. And you cannot be afraid to fail. That's the only way. And I have so many stories of myself failing in my professional life. But every time when I would get at a low point where I lost a big deal, or something didn't happen the way I wanted, or that same mentality kicked back in from when I was in middle school, that same mindset. And I said, I'm not going to let this happen again. I'm not going to let it happen again. And it kicked in, and I overcame it. But the point is, you don't know that until you fail. You have to push yourself to failure. You have to give your mind, your body, your spirit enough time to replenish itself, to regenerate itself, the same way your body does when you go to failure after you work out. And when it does, you're ready for that level of challenge and more. You've prepared yourself for it, but you cannot prepare yourself for it unless you fail at it. Anybody that you admire, anybody that you look up to, if you really look at their story, a massive failure led to that. There was nobody who is undefeated in life. Something had to trigger that spark, and you have to fail to get to it. And so whatever you're trying to do, just keep that in mind. And if you're afraid to fail, then you have to come out of your comfort zone. But if you failed and you think that's the end, you have to question how bad you really want it. Because if you really want it, that's not the end. That's just the obstacle. And then you just have to keep going. So failure is going to challenge. It's going to test how bad you want it. But if it's for you, and I can't tell you how many times I've been in that in my career over the years, where you have to question, am I built for this? Can I handle this? And then it kicked in. I want this. I'm not going to let that be the end. And so you have to fail for that to happen. And so hopefully that